Do you think the importance of online presence will go down now that in person is coming back?
No, I really don't, and it shouldn't. That's maybe that's an opinion, but um, I everyone's gonna be really jazzed up about online shows, offline shows, like getting back out and doing the live thing, and that's fantastic. But at the end of the day, for especially for independent musicians, it's just a garbage business model for most of the time. And I don't mean that in a negative way. We talked about online growth, offline growth methods, where we're talking about doing house concerts and festivals. All that stuff is legit. Playing the typical club gigs where you're bringing in audiences and all that kind of stuff, like that stuff needs to just like end for musicians. It's just not good for them. And there's online audiences. I mean, at the end of the day, there was an online streaming crowd before the pandemic, and there's going to be one during the pandemic, and there's going to be one after the pandemic. Online streamers aren't going anywhere. If you think about other entertainment things, video gamers, makeup people, there are people that are online streaming and talking about things all the time. It was just forced upon musicians because because of the pandemic. And if you're smart, you'll continue to invest your time into doing that. Again, this is just our humble opinion, or my humble opinion, because it is the best way for you to not only build your audience and connect with people, but to also generate income. At the end of the day, when you're building your music career, you need to find one primary revenue stream where you're going to build your career, and live shows are it. Now, it could be in person or online, but the online thing, I think, there's just so much benefits to it. The overhead cost is low. You can collaborate with musicians from all over the world. You can connect with audiences from all over the world without having to, incur the cost for touring and all the things that kind of go along with that. When you're performing your online show, you can record it and then, play replays for people. You can sell performances. You can easily, add people to your mailing list. You can easily promote your social media channels. The benefits to online shows versus in-person shows, just completely, kill it. From a business standpoint, online shows are 100 times better for your audience than live shows. Now, that being said, we're musicians also, and I love, personally, I love an in-person show more than a live stream show. But I think that's just because live stream shows really haven't, had a lot of time to put into them. You put on it, yourself, you put an amazing online show, and I enjoyed that. And a lot of times I miss online shows for people I want to see because it's just, I can't get there, or I feel like I can't go out. But like, that's the other great thing about the online show. If someone misses an online show, they can watch a replay. So you're not leaving any of your audiences out. So I'm going to continue to ride that bandwagon. Anyone that knows us, we were preaching online shows before the pandemic even started, because it really was a great way. Now, obviously, no one listened to us because the fun for musicians is getting out there and playing on a live show. And that's understandable. You don't have to do both. But like, really seriously, I would consider continuing the online show because the audience is there. You just need to develop it.
Yeah, like Greg said, I mean, it is in many ways better from a business perspective. The trouble is that it's harder to kind of connect with people. It's harder to put on that show where people are getting that whole ambiance and that whole emotional feeling of being in a place and being among an audience and being a part of something. The trick is figuring out how to overcome that. I mean, it's possible to have an emotional experience over an online show. Well, you did that. You told, a great story, your whole concept album. You went through the whole story of it. It's kind of like a one-man show thing. It was incredible. It was perfect. That's the kind of thing that you need to do, that everyone needs to do, and use that medium to its fullest. If you can do that, it's just, at the end of the day, it's another tool in the box. People need to find its potential and use it to its potential, and make it work. But that's for people to figure out. It kind of goes back to the manager thing. It's like a manager is just a creative business person. I mean, if you get creative with your business, that's going to help you succeed. So online shows and to more directly your question, online presence is always going to be relevant. I mean, your social media and all that stuff. It's not fun, but it is important. People are going to look you up after your show. You always have to have that in order. That's how you're going to book shows and all that kind of thing. But to answer your question, yep, it's not going anywhere. I hope people use this kind of downtime. I mean, it's picking up again, but I hope people use this downtime to learn the tools and to learn how to, engage their audience with it, while it's still kind of, um, not, it's still kind of an option that is needed.
Yeah. I mean, listen, like again, musicians aren't the only business out there. Every business during the pandemic adapted their business online, or they, got into real trouble. And even again before the pandemic, businesses were online and offline. Just because you have even a brick and mortar store doesn't mean you don't have a website. It doesn't mean that you don't do things online, because at the end of the day, you want to be able to reach as many people as possible. And if all you're doing is a show at a local gig or something nearby, you're only tapping into that audience that's in that immediate area. And, again, if you're going to go off and want to grow your audience by hanging out in different states or doing different things, there's a lot of costs that are involved with that. And it's not easy to tap into that. I mean, there are methods for growing your audience outside of your state and your city and your town. But it's really hard work to do that. And not that you can't do, you 100% absolutely can. I just think it's way easier to do that online. Hey, I know someone from California where we get along great together, and I'm in New York. How do we put on a show together? Well, in the normal world, you couldn't do that, but online, you absolutely can. But I think moving forward, it's going to be a creative blend of both. But I really still believe that it should be more heavily focused on online shows than offline shows. The in-person shows are great for specific purposes, like playing a festival, doing a house concert, or things of that nature. But when it comes down to collaborating with other artists and growing your audience, online shows are going to far surpass that, just because of the amount of people that you can reach online. Thanks for watching. If you need help planning out your music career, schedule a call to speak with us today. Or you can enroll in our free program called Developing Your Business Plan. The link for both can be found in the description below. And please don't forget to subscribe. Your support really matters and helps us a lot, and we appreciate it. Have a great day.